What's up, guys? Welcome back to my channel. Philip the Pilot here. This is episode 12 in the My Pilot Journey series, something I created to document my path from Guyana, where I was born in the early 70s, to the US, where I now fly as a captain for the 1%. I also created the series to give my kids an insight as to who I am, what I am, and why I think the way I do. It is my sincere hope that at the end of this series that my kids are inspired to pursue their own goal and give them a broader understanding as to who I am. In the previous video, I left off where I had just joined the US Navy. There is a misunderstanding as to what the military does and what the military does not do. There is a there is a belief that the military somehow makes you into a better person. Some people may argue this is true, for they have experienced it themselves. I, on the other hand, don't agree with that assessment. What the military, in fact, does is, and it starts from the time you get to boot camp at midnight. You always get to boot camp at midnight. It doesn't matter if it's the Navy, the Air Force, the Army, the Marines, the Coast Guard, you will arrive at boot camp at midnight. It's intentional. What the military does is peel away all the superficial character and personality flaws that are there to reveal that which is hidden below. The military then exploit those core values if they're there. If, for example, you are someone who is honorable, you're someone who follows direction well, you're someone who is not anti-authority, you're someone who are driven by a greater purpose other than self-preservation, but you have not been exposed to an environment that draws those good qualities out of you, the military will bring those quality out of you because its environment is so structured as to encourage the birthing of such qualities. If on the other hand, you are an individual at your core of a duplicit nature, that nature will conflict with the disciplined nature of the military. It doesn't matter what the military does. It doesn't matter how much training the military provides to you. There is absolutely nothing it can do to change what's at your core, even after you have been exposed to a very promising and flourishing environment. I learned this while in boot camp. One of my recruit division chief said to us one day in the compartment, you are all adults. You will think the way you want to think. I'm not here to change the way you think or to teach you how to think. I am here to show you how to play the game and win. The military recognizes that there's some individuals who will not consent to its style of governance, but it doesn't know who will and who will not. What it does through its bootcamp rigorous training routine is to quickly weed out those who will not make it. There are cases where some individuals do get through the cracks. After all, no system is perfect. Despite the rigorous nature of basic training or boot camp, there is no sure way of ensuring that everyone who actually get through boot camp can survive the rigors of a military life. And you can watch YouTube to see what boot camp is like. There are many videos out there. I do watch them myself. It's the same thing. Running, push-ups, lots of physical exercise. You don't get to sleep late. You need to learn how to swim, which I did not know how to swim prior to joining the Navy. So I had to take extra swimming classes. The military is where I learned, specifically while in boot camp, that it doesn't matter what happened. Once I am in charge in some way, I am accountable for my choices. Even if I am nowhere on site when the incident occurs, the fact that I am the leader or I am partly the leader, I am accountable. To this day, I hold that same value. And I learned this. I learned this the really hard way. And I told this story to my kids before, so they have heard this one. One day I was using those big buffing machine to clean the floor of the compartment. Off to my left were three guys, three of my fellow recruits just standing there. I don't know when it happened. I did not see it happen. The only thing I remembered was fighting to keep the machine from hitting the bottom bed, from hitting the bedpost. What had happened was one of the individuals who were standing to my left watching me work the machine decided to jump on the machine and ride it. I didn't see I did not saw him jump on the machine. The next thing I know, he's on the machine. And I'm struggling to control it. Right about that time, the recruit division commander walked through the door and he says, Airman Kendall, that's destruction of government property. You need to go see the division commander. This was a lieutenant. A few days later, I went downstairs, I saw her, and she said to me, so you've been charged with destruction of government property. And I said, ma'am, I didn't know when he jumped on the machine. I did not invited him to jump on the machine. The next thing I know, he was on the machine and I was struggling to control it. It didn't matter what I said. I was accountable. And she sentenced me to IT times 3. Now, sentencing is kind of a harsh word, but it's the best word I can think of here. IT is intensive training. Whatever the PT or physical activity or physical training instructor wants to have you do, he or she has the authority to do it without violating any safety regulations enforced upon them by the US Navy. 3 times in 1 week, I had to go to intensive training. Terrible, terrible, terrible. The other sad story from me in boot camp was my then wife had came to visit after I had finished my boot camp. We had 1 week left and I slept late. I got back to the base late and I didn't realize that I was supposed to stand watch. I was responsible for protecting my fellow recruits while they were out doing their thing. It's something we do while in the military. We all stand watch, and you learn how to do this in boot camp. And I came back late, and I remember my RDC or recruit division commander just looked at me and he's laughing, and I'm like, why is he laughing? Then he calls me and he goes, Recruit Kendall, you had the watch 2 hours ago. I'm like, what? I'm like, no, I didn't. He said, yes, you did. It's right here on the watch bill. Like, grrr. So I got set back a week while I was able to walk in the graduation with my original division, Division 214. I had to wait an additional week. I got sent back to Division 215, I think, before I can leave. I have never felt so terrible. I have never been so mad at myself. I've never felt like such a loser and such a failure because boot camp is hard. And having survived, I don't know what is it, 13 weeks, I think, only to get to the end and piss it away because I didn't read the watch bill. Did you think I ever made that mistake again? Nope. All through my 9.5 years of military service, I never misread another watch bill. Well, it happened once, but that wasn't my fault. I was promised something and that individual did not uphold his promise and I got pissed. And it actually took a chief that I trust a lot to keep me from. He actually walked in the door and yelled at me. He goes, "Petty Officer Kendall." And that's what stopped me from going after this first class petty officer because he made me look like an idiot. Having suffered the embarrassment of not reading the watch bill in boot camp, I was never going to make that happen to me again if I had anything to say about it. Boot camp, for the most part, as I said, was challenging, but it was fun. What motivated me through all those challenges was the reason I was there. I kept reminding myself that I'm here to become a pilot, and this is my path to get there. I've stated this in previous videos. The path you take to get to where you want to be is not going to be the one you want to take, but it's the one you need to take. All right, guys, I think that's it for this one. I hope you enjoy it. I hope it is informative. I hope it is inspiring. And don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel. I'm trying to grow my subscriber base and get this information out to more people. Until next time, be good.